Hello everyone, welcome you all once again. In today's session, we will discuss very important point in NMR spectroscopy, splitting of the signal, and reason of that is spin-spin coupling phenomenon. Spin-spin coupling is a very important in NMR because it is giving us very important information about the neighboring environment of the proton under study. So let us discuss spin-spin coupling and splitting of the signal. Friends, sometimes in NMR spectroscopy, the signal appear is a not intact or as a single line, but sometimes it is splitted into several number of lines or peaks. This is called splitting of the signal. If you can see that my cursor is, this signal is intact, so that is called singlet. But you can see that this signal is splitted into two lines with the intensity 1:1. That is called doublet. Here you can see that the signal is splitted into three lines with the intensity 1:2:1. 1:2:1 mean the middle line is a double intense compared to first and the third. That's why 1:2:1. It is called a triplet. This is called a quartet if signal is splitted into four lines with the intensity 1:3:3:1. Middle two lines are three times more intense than the terminal lines. This is the meaning. If signal is splitted into five lines, it is called quintet. For 6, 7 and onwards number of lines, a common word multiplet can be used, you can see over here. Or otherwise for 6 lines, we can use the word hexet or the sextet. For 7, we can also use heptet or septet. But mostly friends, multiplet word is used. This number of lines in which signal is splitted, it is called its multiplicity. It means that doublet is splitted into 2. So its multiplicity is 2. And for quartet, multiplicity is 4. So this is called splitting of the signal. But why this phenomenon happen? The reason is that spin-spin coupling. So let us discuss the spin-spin coupling. So now I think that you should have idea that the signal gets splitted into several number of peaks. That is called splitting of the signal, breaking of the signal. But that phenomenon occur because of the spin-spin coupling. Why this spin word is a twice spin-spin coupling? Reason is that before we start discussing, you should keep this point in your mind. Deliberately it is used here twice, spin-spin coupling, because this is the interaction between the spin of two neighboring non-equivalent protons. Friends, I am deliberately repeating this line because you should remember this thoroughly in your mind that spin-spin coupling means interaction between the spin of the two neighboring protons provided they are non-equivalent. If they are equivalent, for example, just visualize the structure of ethane in your mind, CH3 and CH3. But see, CH3 and CH3, all the 6 hydrogens are equivalent. So in that case, there won't be any spin-spin coupling. So that's why we are using the word spin-spin coupling occur between the spin of neighboring protons, but these neighboring protons have to be non-equivalent. So let us discuss spin-spin coupling. Here you can see that in this slide, splitting of a signal arises due to small magnetic interaction between neighboring non-equivalent protons. Such nuclei are said to be coupled. Magnetic field of the proton. Now, one more thing we should remember, this kind of interaction is a not much powerful, but it is a comparatively weaker. So this spin-spin coupling is not going to shift the position of your signal, as it is not as powerful as the shielding or de-shielding. Magnetic field of proton is comparatively smaller than the electrons. Hence, it cannot shift the signal, but due to it, signal is get splitted into several number of peaks or lines. This phenomenon is called spin-spin coupling. And as I said you earlier, the number of lines in which signal gets splitted, that is called its multiplicity. So signal splitted into three lines, we call it its multiplicity as a triplet. Now one very interesting observation is n plus 1 rule. It is observed that any proton, if having small n number of non-equivalent neighboring protons, then its own signal will get split into n plus 1 number of lines. So I want to tell you that any proton having only one neighboring proton, so n is 1. So what is n plus 1? N plus 1 is 2. So as any proton having only one neighboring non-equivalent proton, its own signal will split into two lines. Again, any proton having if two non-equivalent neighboring protons, then its own signal as per n plus 1 rule split into n plus 1 equal to 3 lines, or we can say that it will split into triplet. The reverse is also true. If I say that some signal split into 5 lines, so how many neighboring protons must that proton have? So now from the n plus 1 rule, easily we can say that if the signal is splitted into 5 lines, it means that it should have 4 neighboring protons. So this is called n plus 1 rule. And now in the forthcoming slide, we would understand that why this happen. Why, if any proton having n number of non-equivalent neighboring protons, why its own signal gets split into n plus 1 number of lines. So let us understand this with the example. Let's take this example. 112, 112 trichloroethane, as there are two protons. Now here you can see that now you can easily understand that there will be two NMR signals, signal A and signal B. Okay. Now let me ask you, which signal will be more de-shielded, proton A's or proton B's? So now as you understand it, you must have seen my previous lectures. So easily you can say that signal B, because with signal B, two chlorine atoms are attached, so more electronegativity, and that's why it will be more de-shielded. And the same you can see in the figure also. See the signal B is our delta scale is actually moving from right to left. So this is a downfield and with the higher delta value. So this is the signal B. And signal A is a comparatively in upfield than the B. That's why you can see that. Now let us discuss the n plus 1 rule. Proton A. How many neighboring protons? Only one. So n is 1. So its signal will split into two lines, that is doublet, and you can see that proton A's signal is split into doublet. The symbol small d is used and doublet's intensity is 1 is to 1. So the height of these two splitted lines in doublet is always same. What about proton B? Proton B having two neighboring protons here. So as per n plus 1 rule, its own signal will get split into n plus 1. So three lines, that is a triplet. And you can see that signal B is a triplet with the symbol of the triplet is a small t, and the intensity of lines would be 1 is to 2 is to 1. 1, This is a double intense line, and this is again 1. One more interesting observation is signal B or proton B having only one proton, and proton A, that signal is arise because of the double number of protons. So see, here also signal A is the double intense than signal B. So this we have discussed when we discussed the principle of the NMR spectroscopy, that the intensity of signal is proportional to the number of protons that give rise that signal. So I think you must remember that thing. So this is actually the observation example, but we want to understand that why here, because of one neighboring proton, signal A split into doublet, and why signal B split into triplet. So let us discuss that one by one. So here we'll go. Now again let me remind you, before we start one more time, I want to tell you that in spin-spin coupling, the spin-spin coupling only occur if the neighboring protons are non-equivalent. So in this figure, you can read that we are first understanding that why the formation of doublet of proton A. So again, just check it that signal A having only one neighboring proton, that's why it gets split into doublet. So this is here as I have written signal of uncoupled A. If there is no coupling, then we should get only one line. Now here I have written it a horizontal, but we know that signal we are getting the vertical. But to understand this coupling phenomenon, we have to put it like this. So this is nothing but the uncoupled. Believe that suppose there is no coupling. And this thing, here you can see that it is a spin combination of proton B. As we have earlier discussed, this proton A having one neighboring proton. But friends, let me tell you, in any sample there is not only one molecule. There are many or millions of molecules. So possibility of that, there are some molecules in which this one neighboring proton having the parallel spin with the applied magnetic field, and there are some molecules they must have that one neighboring proton in opposing spin than the applied magnetic field. So friends, here we are discussing about the signal A, and this spin orientation are of the neighboring protons. So few molecules are with the parallel spin and few are with the opposing spin. Now this is a spin-spin coupling. This spin of neighboring proton is interacting with the spin of its neighboring proton. Now due to all this kind of spin, now as they are parallel to applied magnetic field, slightly the magnetic field experience on this proton is a slightly increase. And we know that when the magnetic field is a slightly increase, it is a nothing but the deshielded and shifting towards the downfield. But as I told you, this uh, combi coupling between the proton is not that much powerful that it can shift the signal, but very slightly the signal will shift towards the downfield. Again, now due to all this kind of spin orientations which are opposing the x0, the magnetic field experience on our proton A is a slightly decrease, and a decrease is as good as a shielding phenomenon. So signal will slightly shift towards the upfield. So now you can see that mathematical probability of the upfield and this kind of parallel spin and opposing spin is a 1:1. So all this kind of spin orientation of neighboring proton, they would reinforcing the magnetic field experience on A, and all the spin combinations of this kind which are opposing would decrease the magnetic field experienced by A. So mathematical probability of these two will be 1 is to 1, and that's why the signal A slightly shift towards the downfield and slightly shift towards the upfield. So it gets splitted into these two lines. Or we can say that though the number of neighboring proton is of 1 n equal to 1, but for one neighboring proton, two spin orientations are possible. This is a 1 and this is the second. So n equal to 1, number of neighboring non-equivalent proton 1, but for one proton spin combinations are 2. And that's why, because of both spin combinations, this signal split into doublet. And as you can see that, once again let me tell you, the mathematical probability is equal. It's like when you toss a coin, head and tail, the mathematical probability is 1 is to 1. Similarly here also only two possibilities, and that's why the intensity of doublet is 1 is to 1, which you can see in this figure. 1 is to 1 doublet. Now let us try to understand why we are getting triplet of proton B. Proton B having two neighboring protons, so n equal to 2. So let us try to understand. Now again this is uncoupled signal B. This is the direction of H0. Neighboring protons are 2. Now 4 spin combinations are possible for two neighboring protons. One possibility, both spins are oriented parallel to H0. Another possibility is both spin are against the H0. Third combination is a first spin is against and second is parallel, and fourth is first parallel and second is against. So friends, if there are two neighboring protons of any proton, but for those two protons, four spin combinations are possible as shown in this figure. Now largely if we say there is not much difference between these two spin orientations, because in both of them one is a parallel and the other is against. So if we consider these two as equal, so in that case, broadly speaking, total there are three spin combinations. This one, this is double, 2, and this is a 1. So see this n plus 1 rule match. N equal to 2, two neighboring protons, but for two neighboring protons, three spin combinations are possible. So that's why all these kind of spin combinations, as they are parallel to H0, they would reinforcing. For them, the magnetic field experience would slightly increase. These combinations against totally, that's why they would opposing, and that's why slightly it will shift the signal into the upfield or the shielded side, and neutral effect of these two spin orientations. So all this would split the signal towards the downfield, all this towards the upfield, and no effect. So due to three different kind of spin combinations, this signal B having two neighboring protons, but two neighboring protons means three orientations, and that's why it gets split into triplet with the intensity. Now mathematical probability, the time in which one spin combination is possible, two such spin combinations are possible. So I want to tell you that mathematical probability is 1 is to 2 is to 1, and that's why always triplet gets intensity of triplet is 1 is to 2 is to 1, which again you can see in this figure. Triplet 1, the second line is a double longer, and the third line is again half than that. So 1 is to 2 is to 1. So friends, I hope that now you should have the correct idea that why the neighboring n protons are there, but for n neighboring protons there can be n plus 1 number of spin combinations are possible. And that's why all spin combinations, they, due to spin-spin coupling between the neighboring protons, provided they are non-equivalent, they split the signal into n plus 1 number of lines. Now I am giving you a task. If there are 3 neighboring protons, so now you can understand, if n equal to 3, then signal would split into 4 lines, that is quartet. So you have to draw quartets. Intensity is a 1 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. Later on I will show you in the next slide. So like for 2 protons, we are drawing these spin combinations. You have to try to draw spin combination of 3 protons. And if you have any problem, then in my next session I would show you how to draw. But I hope that if you try it, then this concept will be very much clear to you all. So I really emphasize that try to draw spin combinations of 3 protons. So let me give you example. All the 3, like here 2 protons are same. So all the 3 are parallel, all the 3 are anti-parallel. And how many other spin combinations are possible, that I am telling you to draw on a paper. This is, friends, Pascal triangle, and we all studied it in a general mathematics in our high school. What is its use and why here we are discussing the Pascal's triangle? First, let me remind you, in mathematics, x plus y raised to n. And if we keep changing n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, we are getting the different answers. If n equal to 0, then anything raised to 0 is 1, which is this one. But if n equal to 1, then answer of this step would be x plus y. So Pascal triangle, this number, is actually helping us to remember the coefficients x plus y. Coefficient of x is 1, nothing is written, x plus y. Y also having nothing, so 1. So this is 1 and 1. As I have shown you here, n equal to 2, then you will get answer x square plus 2xy plus y square. So coefficients are 1, 2 and 1, 1, 2 and 1. Or if you write x plus y cube, then it would be x cube plus 3x square y plus 3xy square plus y cube. So 1 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. But why we are discussing this in NMR? Reason is that, friends, because coincidentally our intensities of uh, the lines in which signal gets splitted, that is also matching with this. You can see that here, if there is a no neighboring proton, n equal to 0, there will not be spin-spin splitting, spin-spin coupling. So signal will be intact, and in that case there will not be any spin-spin splitting. So we will get the singlet. When the signal is intact, we call it a singlet. But if there is a one neighboring proton, for that one neighboring proton, 2 spin combinations are possible. One upside, one downside. Right? One opposing, one parallel. With the equal probability. That's why we are getting the doublet. And this is the intensity line of doublet. 2 neighboring protons. 3 spin combinations are possible. These 3. Both parallel to this not affecting and both against. So the intensity of triplet is 1 is to 2 is to 1. Quartet 1 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. And that way 4 protons. Then in case of quintet, the intensity would be 1 is to 4 is to 6 is to 4 is to 1 and so on. So that way Pascal's triangle of mathematics can help us to remember the intensities of the splitting lines of signal. So friend, I am guessing that this is a very very important point to remember, because unless you understand this splitting, as I told you initially in this session, this phenomenon is tell us lots of information about the surrounding environment, because now you can easily understand that if one signal is splitted into four lines, so you can have idea that it must have three neighboring protons. So this is a very important information about the structure elucidation, which is our main task, and that's why we are understanding NMR spectroscopy, because ultimately we want information about the structure, and that's why it is a very important to know this spin-spin coupling phenomenon and to understand the n plus 1 rule. So I hope that I made this thing clear, and in my next session we would discuss some examples of the molecule, and we will also discuss their multiplicity. So with this I am ending this session. Thank you very much.